Well, hey guys, welcome back. So, kind of the thing I've been doing here is among my channels, I've been trying to like rotate when I have these videos that are sort of let's play, screw around with games for free. Today we have rotated over to baseball, and I thought, I'd play something maybe a little bit extra for you guys, just sort of for fun. I can't believe I'm considering this game fun, but let's go ahead and jump straight on into this. So this is a game that we all know and love very well. This is I Love Softball on the Famicom. I've talked about this game. You guys probably remember the video that I did on this game. This is, if you thought Baseball Stars can be frustrating at the beginning, this game is a lot more frustrating than that one. I Love Softball is, it's the game that has that wonderful, thirst trap, can I say that on YouTube, right? That the butt picture on the cover, right? But this is also the game that has a bunch of like really weird stuff going on with it. Can't seem to go back anywhere. Anyway, so apparently as soon as you select the region you want to be in, you're kind of stuck with it. So we'll look through here and we'll see if we can find the best possible team. And we'll just go ahead while we're in Hokkaido, and we'll go ahead and play and see what happens. I don't know if it really matters which pitcher we have. We can't see any sort of like ratings or anything like that, so we'll just go for it. This game has some of the most annoying sound effects that you'll ever hear. So that's the old Koshien sound effect, by the way. If you play Koshien on the Famicom, that's what you get at the beginning. It's because this is supposed to be part of the national softball tournament. That's kind of helps explain sort of a lot of the design of the game and stuff like that a little bit. You're supposed to be you're doing the regional tournament first, and then you're supposed to be able to go up to like the national tournament and stuff. Anyway, the problem with this game is that it's really easy to not win. Part of the reason is right there, which is that you hit the ball hard, you hit the ball to the outfield, and it's caught right away. And then the other part of the reason is going to come up here really soon. As soon as they get a base hit, we'll see what fielding is like. Hey, I actually caught it for a change. How about that? So that's the problem with fielding in this game, which is that you kind of have to know where your players are and you can't see it. And the problem is not so much that you can't see them at the right time, or I'm sorry, right after the ball is hit. The problem is that the screen scrolls so slowly that you can't really see what's going on until it's too late. Right, that's what the real issue is. If they had changed this game so that the screen would scroll up like right now or a second ago or whatever, it would have been fine. That was kind of fun. She did the splits. Anyway, so that's really the big problem with this game. Other than that, this is actually a pretty good game. It's kind of funny because, when I watch, oh man, see, if I had known where I was, we could have got that. The funny thing about this game is that when I've watched other YouTubers, people who play like all of the Famicom games, and those people, are around here and there, and they talk about this one, they just say, oh, this is a Famista, clone, and it's not really worth it. And that's not really true. I mean, it's not a great game, sure, but it's not that bad. The only real problem with it is the fielding issue in the outfield, and also the fact that it's really, really difficult, right? Aside from that, it's actually really not that bad. Now, it does have one of those things I have a pet peeve with, which is that green screen when you're supposed to make contact, because if you look, we're not actually making contact with the ball. It's just that the game is determining that, the hitbox hit the ball, close enough, and so, so that's a hit. So, I mean, that's one way of putting it together. The truth is, when you play Famista and games like that, especially the older ones, you will notice, a very similar thing. Famista has the exact same box. I don't think it's green, but I'm trying to remember if it's like black or something. But, if you look closely, you can see it. But in Famista, it comes after you make contact with the ball, as opposed to coming like right before. That's also one of the issues I have, and people are going to go after me for mentioning this one again, but with LJN's Major League Baseball, I have the exact same issue, which is that the screen turns green before you actually see the ball hit the bat, which is a problem. Okay, that's the other problem, the ball bouncing over my head like that, but it's something you can get used to. anyway, it's kind of a problem. It's just a frustrating thing if you're an actual fan of baseball. Look at that. We actually were able to complete the double play in this game. We couldn't do that in Baseball Stars. I played 3 games of Baseball Stars, haven't been able to complete a single double play. So anyway, so this is not necessarily a game that I want to have like a whole bunch of footage of or whatever, because I was able to get a lot of that before. I swear I played this game I think like 7, 8 times when I was trying to film that video because I wanted to win. Really, that's the reason I kept going after it. All right, thank you. Oh, something good might happen here. Anyway, but like I said, you know, the thing about this game is that it's really not that bad. This is far from the worst baseball or softball, I guess, game on the Famicom. Not even close to the worst. There are games that are really borderline unplayable. There are games like Exciting Baseball by Konami on the Famicom Disk System that are just really, really bad. Funny thing about that game, that's another one maybe I should play eventually. Funny thing about that game is that it's not awful. It's not like, you know, I think I said when I was reviewing it that it's maybe the worst game, but I don't think it is. I think that there are a couple of other Famicom games that are much worse than that one. The problem with the Konami game is that you have like some really, really weird, you know, AI logic. It's too easy when you like figure out what you're doing. And the fielding like is just wrong. The frame rate is absolutely atrocious. All right, there we go. See, I can catch the ball in the outfield. Just have to get used to it. Anyway, that game is a lot worse than this one. This game is not even close to that level of being bad or being unplayable. This is actually a very playable game. The one criticism I have of this game, aside from the fielding shenanigans, is that there are too many teams, right? Like, there was this trend on both the Famicom and on the Super Famicom for games like this that were never released in the US to try to put in as many teams as you possibly could. And so as a result, you know, because all of the room in the cartridge was taken up by having like whatever it is, like, you know, 14 different zones and like 6 teams per zone or something like that, like there wasn't a whole lot left to create a game that was actually playable and, you know, entertaining. And so that's what I think is really one of the biggest problems with this game. It's not as bad though as the Koshien games on the Super Famicom. When you play those have like way too many players or way too many teams, and anyway, it becomes a problem really, really fast. And that's another game where you have to beat the your regional tournament before you can advance to the real tournament. So you have to you have a winner go home game right from the beginning, which is not necessarily the best playing experience in the world. Anyway, I think my strategy in this game is just to take walks, just not swing. The other cool thing about this game is that for the most part, your pitchers will last a little bit longer than in most Famicom baseball games. And then of course the other thing you learn is that usually it's better, she's got a good arm. For most of these girls though, you're better off running to the bag than you are, how is that a ball? But yeah, for most of these girls, you're better off just running to the bag than actually trying to throw it. Not her though. Couldn't get it there quite in time. Yeah, if that fastball is missing, might have to find a new pitcher. There was this trend in Japanese baseball games back in these days to have, you know, fields like this one where you don't have any stands that are around, and instead you have like a bunch of trees and stuff like that. So in some of the Famistar games, I want to say starting with Famistar 88, I think, you have that as an option for, you know, your ballpark. Alright. This is the thing, I can't look at anybody's stats, so we just have to know. And I don't know if it's like Baseball Stars and RBI Baseball where you get a bonus for a pinch hitter. Maybe that's why we got a base hit. I don't know. shoot. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so in this game, the computer doesn't know what to do when you are supposed to tag up. It will throw to the wrong base every time. Yep, there you go. Little NES baseball tricks. There are some games, by the way, where that sort of thing doesn't work, and I feel really embarrassed when I find that out at the last second. Drop, 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 drop. Alright, there's the end. Hey, yeah. See, this is a great game. This is a lot of fun. And yeah, my strategy was going to be to take a lot of pitches, and instead I've been hitting the cover off the ball. Alright. So I've never quite been able to figure out like who the intended audience was for this game. I guess maybe it was supposed to be, you know, girls interested in softball or something like that. But like, if that's what the intended audience was, why do they have, you know, the softball player, you know, with her like her butt on like the, you know, packaging of the game? That's the part I don't really understand. And if this is supposed to be like a game, you know, geared towards, you know, guys who are interested in baseball or like, you know, old men or whatever, like, I have a lot of questions about like, you know, the presentation here of this game and the way that things are put together, right? I mean, because like, this isn't, you know, this isn't like a really, I don't know, like a really controversial type game or anything like that when you play it. I mean, it's just softball. It's a baseball game that, you know, has underhand pitching, you know, and a bunch of girls, you know, playing in gym shorts, basically. I mean, that's it, you know. So I don't know what the intended audience was, but maybe the intended audience were just guys like me who wanted to find crazy Japanese games that nobody had ever heard of before. Anyway, in my opinion, the best part of this game is the way that you can pitch the ball, stuff like that. I mean, you know already that, you know, Dusty Diamond has a bunch of that sort of thing. But in this game, for some reason, it's just a lot of fun. I don't know, it's a lot of fun to see the ball, you know... Oh, come on. To see the ball alternate between, you know, being totally ridiculous and stuff that, like, somehow barely qualifies as a strike. Well, we really blew that opportunity, didn't we? Alright, what is her name? Mimi? Whoops. I guess she doesn't have very good control. I didn't really mean to do that. Yeah, see, like in that situation, the way that she threw it there, it would be faster to run. I guess that didn't hit the ground? I swear I saw that hit the ground. Okay, well, whatever. I'm not going to complain. Kisulin. Is that Ki or Sa? Sasulin? Kisulin. I think that's a Ki. Anyway, I should pay attention to what I'm doing. Nice. So yeah, my recommendation for playing this game if you want to play I Love Softball is to just not swing. Because when you swing, that happens. It's kind of cool too how, like, when she threw the ball to second base there, how it had kind of like a natural curve to it. And there are a lot of like little things in this game that are actually pretty cool when you see them, and you know, they try to give you, I guess, like the authentic softball experience. So it was pretty neat. I don't know if there was ever a sequel to this game or anything like that. I don't think that there was one for the Super Famicom. It's kind of a shame because it would be pretty cool to play a game like this, 16-bit with, you know, better graphics, better control. Although, honestly, though, the play control of this game is really not that bad. Oh, come on. Come on, you can run faster than that. Jeez. Alright, we have to change pictures, I think. Oh, what kind of throw to first is that from the second baseman? There we go. Look at that. That's a beautiful throw. Beautiful play by the shortstop. All right, we got one more to go. Of course this is going to happen. Jeez Louise. Alright, well, you should be happy that you tuned into this, because it's a memorable moment, because I finally won a game of... Yep. Finally won a game of I Love Softball. Shiai Shulio des. This is the first time I've ever seen the victory screen. In fact, you know, this has been so good, I want to play this game again. Why not? Let's make this a long video. There was somebody in the comment section that told me when you get to the second game that the uniform colors change. So let's see if this is right. Sarko kill. Maybe they did Sawago. Looks the same to me. Hey, that's not bad. I'm so used to playing baseball stars with teams that with that team that really stinks. How about that defensive indifference, right? Crap. So you've already seen this, but the crazy thing about this game is that, like, oh, whoops. There was only, oh, okay, now the computer throws you out. there was only one out. My bad. I was gonna say, the crazy thing with this game is that figuring out the strike zone is not an easy task. Like, how this is a ball, I don't know. But that's a strike. So, the game kind of comes up with its own rules on the fly. Anyway, I should have fielded that with the right fielder. I think that's part of the difficulty of the game, which is that you're kind of you're kind of naturally inclined to try to use the infielder to go after, you know, pop flies like that, but you really should be using your outfielders to do that. All right, we'll take the double play. Oh, there was one out. You guys should have told me, huh? So you saw, I'm guessing? You saw? You key? I have to apologize, I'm not very good in the art of the hiragana as interpreted by the Famicom. Alright, I have to remind myself not to swing. Maybe I should have swung that time. There we go. is a base hit. I really think that's the key to this game. I think it's just a question of, you know, waiting for your pitch and being able to recognize what is a ball and what's a strike. So like that's a ball. This, however, is a strike. And then you try to hit it square on instead of, you know, hitting it at an angle. And then if you do that, you're more likely to get a base hit. I think that's what it's really all about. And if you try to throw fastballs like that, it ends up being called a ball. I'm guessing because it's landing too high or something like that. So you don't want to use, you know, the fastball button, the down button that much when you pitch. The other thing you have to watch out for is that right there, which is really annoying, where the ball takes a ricochet off the wall and bounces at a totally crazy angle. But of course, the cool thing, because it's NES, is you can throw crazy curveballs like that. Alright. Yeah, she's got a pretty good arm there in left field. She's come close to throwing some runners out. It's not quite like Bad News Baseball. That's going to be a fun way to go back and play again. That's the game where you can throw base runners out. Like you can throw the batter out at first base from like right field. You can actually do it in that game from left field too. If they get a base hit, you can throw them out. Anyway, there are things about this game that are actually like pretty cool. So, for example, the fact that it's not so easy to just throw a bunch of fastballs, like a lot of them end up being called balls, means that you have to be kind of strategic about how you pitch, instead of just, you know, doing the old like Nolan Ryan thing like an RBI baseball. I wish I could jump though. It would be really helpful if I could have jumped there. Yeah, she's got a great arm. Wow, that was amazing. Alright, so not too much damage there, right? Only 3 runs given up. The other nice thing about this game, of course, is that it's only 7 innings long. So it's not too hard to play a full game. You can do it pretty quickly. It doesn't take as much time as like, you know, the original Bases Loaded and stuff like that, where it's just taking you forever. I shouldn't have swung at that. That would have been a ball. Yeah, I think that the computer throws a whole bunch of balls, you know, after a certain amount of time to try to help you out. And I suspect that's probably also the case with Baseball Stars. Somebody said earlier today maybe the best solution is to work the count. So, I don't know, maybe we'll do a whole bunch of this. Yep, that's ball 4. And see, that looks like a strike to me, but it's high. Man, you never tell if it's going to fall or not. Yeah, oh well. It was worth a shot. If you look there at the bottom of the screen, oh, so much for that. So I like how the run scores right away instead of having you wait like it does in Major League Baseball. Anyway, the thing is, at the bottom of the screen, you can see that the player has a mood, and the mood changes from pitch to pitch, or from batter to batter. But I don't know that that actually really makes a difference in the game. You know, somebody would have to probably like use like a hex editor or something and start messing around with the ROM, see if they can figure it out. Oh man, it's so close. Yeah, she can book it. Wow. Fast. Yeah, see, she can almost beat her to play it close. Anyway, well, we won our one game. We're just gonna have fun with the second one. I think that I think it's a 10-run rule in this game. Jeez. That's the part where it feels unfair because there's no possible way I'd be able to catch, you know, a line drive like that. But the computer happens to be in the right place at the right time. Ah, jeez. Yeah. That's the sort of game this is. So like that pitch right there, I swear that pitch never actually touched the bat. I'm pretty sure that the ball was, you know, like on the screen that we see it like an inch or so away from the bat, but it counts anyway because it's close enough. Kyle. So this game in Famitsu magazine didn't get very good ratings. Everybody just said that this was basically just another baseball game. And it's pretty much correct. I mean, the actual, like, the difference between this game and all of the other baseball games is mostly just the animations, right? And you feel a little bit more limited in this game. I don't know how that pitch missed me. Anyway, but it's fun. I do like it. I don't think it's quite good enough to be considered like a unknown or forgotten classic or anything like that, but it's not as bad as people say. And that probably includes me, by the way. My review of this game was a little bit less than flattering, but yeah, it's fun to play every once in a while. Alright, hey, we have something going on. Maybe we can score. Yeah, we finally got a run. Man, could she throw it any slower to first base? Kodomi. Anyway, one of the reasons why I like this game, despite its many flaws, is because it feels to me, at least, that like for the most part, you know, the balance is just about right between like, you know, how fast you can throw the ball in from the outfield and how fast the runners move and stuff like that. It's, you know, little stuff like that that can be kind of hard to get right. It just would be nice if there weren't so many players who are just absolutely like ridiculously worthless when it comes to throwing the ball like her, right? So you could actually, you know, make good plays. And it would also be nice if it was like obvious that that was, you know, hit on the line instead of bouncing, because I swear it looks to me like it bounces. So anyway. Anyway, but yeah, the key, my strategy guide to this game is just sit there and take pitches until you get something like that. And even then, you don't want to swing because that's what's going to happen. And don't think that there's like a whole bunch of like tips in the manual or in like magazines or something, because I've been through a lot of the magazines. I've been through the manual in Japanese. There's nothing in it, unfortunately. It would be cool if they had, you know, useful hints and tips and stuff, but they just don't. It's not quite the same as like Dragon Quest, right? This is Alright, I didn't know that the ball was just going to die there in the outfield like that. How do you like that? Unassisted double play by the second baseman, but on a ground ball. Alright, it's do or die time, down by 5. Stay up, or stay down, rather. The animation there also is not entirely clear. It looked almost like there was a line drive straight back to the pitcher, but I guess it was over her head. Anyway, I've never hit a home run in this game. I don't know if it's possible for you to do it as a human player. It's definitely not possible for me. Probably should have taken that pitch. Oh well. There we go. Of course, we can't have nice things. Anyway, so much for that. We won a game though, which is good. We ended up losing this one 6-1, but that's not too bad. It gives us 2 games of I Love Softball, which is always fun to play. And this is the part I like the best, the fact that they show you like little clips from the game. I mean, it's all just a couple of animations that are stock, but they did a really good job, I think, with this screen. It's actually pretty common in Japanese baseball games from around this time period. Then you go back to the beginning screen. So anyway, there you have it. A little bit of I Love Softball for you today, and I better get going because I have a couple of videos to put together, some blog posts to write and stuff like that. But, you know, to heck with that, I wanted to have a little bit of fun, and it actually was fun. I'm surprised I was able to win for a change. So I'll talk with you guys later. Take care.